From Exodus to Easter, the shared mystery of Passover, long, long ago, in the land of Egypt, when the stars watched silently over sleeping houses and the wind danced through the palm trees, a quiet tension filled the air. It was the night before freedom, a night unlike any other. The people of Israel, after generations of living as strangers and slaves in a land not their own, had been told to prepare. God, through his servant Moses, had promised to rescue them. And now, the time had come. It would be a night to remember forever, a night of signs, a night of trust, a night that became a memory, a night called Passover or Pesach, the Lamb without blemish. In every small home made of mud and brick, lamps flickered and fires glowed. Families huddled close, listening, as elders whispered instructions passed from Moses himself. Take a lamb, pure, without blemish, they said. Care for it. Then at twilight, prepare it. Each home did as commanded. Each family had chosen a lamb. Not just any lamb, but one without blemish, perfect and whole. It was brought into their homes, cared for, watched over. The children would gently feed it. The mothers would stroke its wool. It became part of the household for just a little while. And when the twilight came on the 14th day, inside the home, the fire was lit. The lambs were roasted whole with care. Bitter herbs were laid beside the meat, and flat, unleavened bread was baked quickly, without time to rise, because God had told them, "Be ready to leave." The lamb was offered, not in sorrow, but in reverence. Children watched as parents gently took a branch of hyssop, dipped it in the lamb's blood, and painted it on the doorposts, left, right, and across the top. The marks shone red under the fading sky, a sign not of fear, but of faith. "Why, Mama?" a child whispered. The answer came in a hush, like wind through the reeds, because the Lord will pass through the land tonight, and when he sees the blood, he will pass over our home. Everything was made with purpose, for tonight the Lord would pass through Egypt. No one sat in comfort. No one leaned back lazily. The family stood, cloaks tucked into belts, sandals strapped on, staffs in hand. They were ready to move, ready to walk into freedom. This was the Passover of the Lord. Outside, the night deepened into silence, but within the homes of the Israelites, there was warmth and light. Fathers spoke the story aloud to their children, the story of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob, of promises made long ago, now coming to pass. They whispered prayers of trust, even as the wind stirred the trees. That night, Egypt slept, and dreams wandered through every household. And then, as midnight drew near, a holy stillness spread across the land. The angel of the Lord moved through Egypt, not seen, but deeply felt. He passed through the land, by every house marked with blood, every home under the covering of obedience. To the homes of Egypt, where the doorposts were bare, sorrow entered. But to every house marked by the Lamb's blood, peace remained. The signs on the doorposts weren't just paint. They were faith, made visible. Not even a whisper of harm touched them. It was the Lord who passed over, shielding and sparing, guarding his people as they rested with sandals on their feet and staffs in hand, just as he told them. But beyond, in the houses of Egypt, a cry rose up like a tide. In every household where the sign was not found, sorrow struck. From the palace of Pharaoh to the smallest hut, the price of hardened hearts was paid. Before the sun rose, Pharaoh summoned Moses. His voice, once proud and hardened, now trembled with grief. "Go," he said, "take your people. Leave Egypt. Go worship the Lord as you have asked. Take your flocks, your herds, and bless me also." So the Israelites, thousands upon thousands, left that land as the stars faded into the dawn. And as golden dawn touched the desert sands, the children of Israel began their journey. They moved swiftly, arms full of blessings, hearts full of wonder. They left not as slaves, but as a people redeemed, free at last, beneath a sky where stars gave way to promise. Table of remembrance, the Lord told them, "This night you shall remember forever. It is a night of watching for the Lord, for generations to come. You will remember it. You will keep it. You will teach your children." And so they did. Year after year, even long after they had entered the promised land, the people of Israel would gather to remember that night. Every year, as the moon shines over new lands and new homes, the Passover is kept with joy. Families would recline at tables lit by candles, just as their ancestors had done. Prayers are said, bread is broken. They would eat the same foods, bitter herbs for the suffering, unleavened bread for the haste, and lamb to remember the sacrifice. And the youngest child would ask, "Why is this night different from all other nights?" And the elders would answer, "Because this is the night the Lord passed over us. This is the night he set us free." And the story is told again of how the Lord brought his people out of slavery, not by sword or might, but by his own strong hand. And as each child listens, eyes wide in the candlelight, they hear not just history, but hope, because the Passover is not just a memory, it is a promise. Greater Lamb. Many years later, in the quiet upper room of a small house in Jerusalem, another celebration of Passover was beginning. But this time, it held a deeper mystery. Jesus, the gentle teacher, sat with his disciples. The lamb was on the table. The bread was ready. The wine was poured. He lifted the bread and broke it. "This is my body," he said, "given for you." He lifted the cup. "This is my blood, poured out for many." The disciples didn't fully understand. Not yet. But soon they would see. He was the Lamb, the perfect sacrifice, not just for one night or one people, but for all people, for all time. And through him, a new kind of freedom was coming. Freedom from sin and death. Passover, or Pesach, weaves a sacred thread through both Jewish and Christian hearts. A timeless tale of deliverance echoing across centuries. In Jewish homes, the story unfolds with matzah and wine, ancient songs rising like prayers from the desert. In Christian tradition, It whispers through the Last Supper, believed to be a Passover meal where bread is broken and promises are born anew. Both faiths, in their own language, remember a God who rescues, who redeems, who walks beside his people through shadow and into light. Both traditions honor this sacred time with a symbolic meal, storytelling, and reflection on God's faithfulness. In their own ways, Jews and Christians gather each spring to remember that hope, freedom, and divine love are at the heart of their faith. It's a season that unites, not divides. In this season of spring and spirit, Passover becomes not just a memory, but a shared melody of freedom, faith, and everlasting hope. Passover, or Pesach, is a beautiful reminder of how deeply connected Judaism and Christianity truly are. And now, dear one, as the stars shine again over your window and the night wraps gently around you, remember the Lamb. Remember the night of watching, when God kept his promise and passed over his people in mercy. You are part of that great story. You are covered. You are loved. You are safe. You are free. So breathe deep and rest in peace. Let the candle of peace glow in your heart. Close your eyes and rest. Tonight is a night of watching and of peace.